Do that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Hanging Out with Temi. And currently, I'm hanging out with Dr. Pastor Bumi Ajayi, all the way from Philippines. It seems as if I came to meet you in Philippines. Hanging out around here. How is it going down there in Down Under? I haven't got the ladies with me right now. Yeah, Heidi, greatness. I know you're on the waiting to see what's gonna happen. And I'm sorry, I realize now it's 7 o'clock in Melbourne, Australia. Sorry, life in the Philippines, it's been amazing. But this segment, I got my one and only Oga on top to come and let's have a little chat together about how the trip is being so far. And I've been getting a lot of questions. How are you? I mean, before we travel, it's been, do you like travel? No, they know I travel anyway. Like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling excited about this traveling? And my answer, it's always been, I don't know. So, well, can I just say, Miss Doctor, I beg your pardon, Pastor Ajayi, can you introduce yourself? Because have you ever been on the show before?
Yeah, I have been, but not as one of the hosts or co-host or whatever it is, which I think I've come in as a guest. Yes, I've come in as a guest.
At the initial start of the show, so you should be more frequent.
A couple of times I've been. So
yeah,
it's good to see everyone. It's good to know that people out there are watching this show. So I'm sure we've got some exciting discussions ahead tonight. So
I think so too. Anything to get you out and to get you here, it's already exciting. As far as I'm concerned, so they say, even Midi was asking me, Mom, every time, like, are you excited about this? Are you excited? I'm like, you know me, I'm hardly ever excited. I guess it's because I have to prepare, have to make sure things are in place, things are running smoothly. When I'm not there, thank God. Thank you, Funke and Jen and Midi and Toby for helping, they're even helping Tony and everything. So I have to make sure those things are all sorted out. And so I'm on the high when I'm traveling. I guess you don't have to. Do you struggle with that? Or do you just have to make sure the mega lines is all sorted out?
Well, if everyone is not okay, I'm not okay. So it's a matter of,
it's true.
Just once the rest of the family is happy, I'm a happy man as well. So that's always what I look forward to. Make sure it's all the boxes are ticked, and you do a whole lot of that. So that makes my job a little bit easier.
Easier for you, harder for someone else.
I'm very good at it anyway, so I just
good at it.
Let's put the best person on the job, kind of.
Good at it. But when I get into the plane, though, I start to relax a little bit. And Melbourne Airport. We need to talk about Melbourne Airport. How do you allow so many cars to come into those car park with no space? It's not fair. If you're traveling, you need, when they say come 3 hours, I say go 4 hours, especially when you're parking your car at the airport. We had to drive like almost half an hour at the car park to get a space. That is so hard. I know that we got into the middle of the car park and then they say, D got some.
Yeah.
That should be at the beginning. when you're going round, it should be so you know that stop going round in the zone A or lane A,
Yeah,
from the
that's
beginning.
right. That's a good point. It should be at the beginning where people are coming in. You need to know where the um, vacant car park spots. But a little bit of in defense of them, it's never always been like that. I've never experienced it that there isn't a parking spot.
Isn't it?
I think what happened 2 days ago when we were coming was that there were a lot of renovations, if you notice. So they had to close off a section of it. That's why we had that level of traffic. But because that place is huge, and to think that it wouldn't fit those traveling any one point in time, I don't think it's a fair call. I think they've made adequate provision, at least for now. The only reason we experienced what we did, I think, was because of the renovation
Construction.
Yeah,
I don't think so, because most times I go through that at the airport, But anyway, that's my own thing. And the other thing was the rat tests that we were meant to do. It wasn't even necessary at the airport at the end of the day.
yeah.
But one thing that was necessary was that One Health Pass. Do you want to talk about One
To
Health
the
Pass?
Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just this thing that most people don't even know it exists. So if you're traveling to the Philippines, I don't know
think
if
most countries, because I think Midi did it too when she was going to.
maybe it's
Singapore.
called something else, but for the Philippines, it's called the One F Pass. It's an online link. You got to fill out some information and all of this. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It took me at least about 20 minutes or more to get it working, because they were saying you got to upload the vaccination certificate, which of course I do have.
International.
But it just wasn't accepting it until I had to change my phone to my iPad for whatever reason. I don't know if that was a trick, but and you had a bit of struggle with it.
I went in straight, I got it done. The only thing though I was gonna say is that one pass thing, whether it's for Philippines or there's other ones for other countries, I don't know what they call, but you need to do that. And I think it's hard to do it from home, because they were asking what gate or what airport. The ticket didn't tell you which airport. It didn't say the code, because they put them in codes.
Yeah, I think, and then also it was asking for your seat number.
Exactly.
And which at the time, unless you've checked in prior to getting to the airport.
Anyway.
So there's a few information there that you can only get once you're in the airport. So it's not something you want to. And if you don't feel all, it's like you can't feel any.
Yeah.
Because it won't accept it. So just something to bear in mind, I suppose.
Yes, bear that in mind. But there's a whole lot we have to unpack today. You gotta sit tight and listen to this. It's gonna be fun. I want to talk about inbound on-flight scenarios. We'll be back. Welcome back on the show. We're still talking about our experience inbound, outbound, en route Philippines. Now, I want to say, for the first time, I watched two movies on board. And I want to talk about these movies. I mean, I was just lucky. I did put Australian movies, and I got to watch one that is called The Prisoners, and the other one that is called Black and White. Let's talk about Black and White. This Black and White is true life story of an Aboriginal man called Mark Stewart. Apparently it happened. I was so captivated about the way it all went. It's a story of a man. I'm not going to say everything in case you need to watch. I think I will actually say go watch it. It's so good. When you say you're racist against, or you're prejudiced against, or the justice isn't good, you're kidding me. Justice is so good now compared to what it used to be. This Aboriginal man wasn't speaking English, and apparently it was alleged that he did committed some sin or some rape, and the the police arrested him. One thing that got me going was that the police had a razor blade in their pocket. They cut his hair, they choke him, like, they beat him and everything, and made him to confess to something that he didn't do. And guess what? The judges were biased as well. Thank God for a man called David Sullivan. Apparently, this was in Tasmania, southern Australia. The Sullivan ended up coming to Victoria, and he died eventually. It was a beautiful movie. And the way they were smoking in that time in the corporate environment, like inside the offices smoking, you need to watch this. It was a true life story, and it was pathetic, really. And the other one was the Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. That one too, you need to watch it. I can't, if I start to tell you all this, it's going to take forever. But the end of it was so annoying because the Hugh Jackman was now, no, let me start. It's too much. With an old lady that pretended to be an old widow, but it was actually a nasty woman. This Hugh Jackman was pushed somehow into the ditch, and they covered him up, like it was really bad, shot him anyway, fell into the ditch, covered him up. And the policeman, Lucky, could not even pick the whistling. I don't know. Let me just stop. But it was an amazing black and white, and the Prisoners. You got to watch it. Did you watch anything? Completed any movie?
I started one, but I didn't finish it. It was Baby. It's called Baby. I think it's got to do with three ladies who, two of them were friends. Two of them had babies, and each time they got together, the topic was all about the baby.
I think I've watched it. Were they drunk at the time they left their babies and they went to party together?
I think so. And then at the time, then the last one, I think, what's her name? Is it Jessica or something? Mm-hmm. She was almost going over the cliff, and she actually did. And then the baby wanted to follow through, and then some cops, came to the rescue. It was very emotionally tense, and but it's quite. It was set in the UK because
were they struggling with handling the babies?
Yeah,
and then one person decided that we should have time and just less stress.
Not really. Two of them, the first two that had baby, the first one that had the baby was so engrossed with the baby. There were three friends, and then one had a baby. It changed the dynamics of their friendship, and every time they got together, she was all talking about my baby. I want to go and look after my baby. And then there's a night they all got together in this other
person's house,
and the baby would not sleep. So she now went to pick up the baby, and every second statement she would, the one that had the baby,
drop the baby.
No, she would interrupt and say, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening to what you were saying," because she was engrossed with that. To the point that this other person that maybe never wanted to have a baby was now dreaming about it, that everything was, I've got to have my own baby, because like they're making it look so beautiful.
I know.
So that's it's set in that kind of
I think I watched it a long time ago. I did. I watched it a long time ago, and that one, I did.
And then I also listened to audio book by one Hugh McKay about the inner self, about how to discover the joy of who you really are. So I think that was quite good, and so those were the two that I got a chance to consume.
That looks like flight. What you watch. We weren't seeing each other because of this demarcation that they put. I don't know what the essence of that. You think you're just sitting comfortably, whatever, and then you can't even touch each other. Never mind. Let's go on a quick break. And I want to talk about the cheeky things that I did while we were on the way. You know me, I always have to be cheeky, but I'll be back. Welcome back on the show. We're still talking about all these trips. I was actually going to talk about a few other incidences that has happened, but I'm going to keep it on the wrap. The other thing I want to talk about, and of course I've got my one and only husband right here with me today. So I'm privileged, Your Highness.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
let me come back to myself. At the airport, they were telling me to remove my face cap because I had to put the face cap on. And they were telling me to remove my face cap. I don't know if you've been at the airport before and they were telling you to remove your face cap. I'm like, what is that about? I wasn't going to remove my face cap. And it's funny, they said, the kids always say, Mom, do you have to create a scene when you get to the airport? Because I think you should always ask questions about things. Why were you removing my face cap? Like my hair is the glory, like I have to cover my head. So I said no. And at Melbourne Airport, I got a pass. Like, okay, I said, I need a woman to check me. No man is going to check me. Get a woman and you can strip me if you like, but I'm not taking it off. And okay. It's funny when the lady was trying to scam me and the alarm was going on. I'm like, what did she think I've got? Anyway, she got another one. I passed. I got to Manila, the same story, take my hair cap off. And I said, no. But it's funny when we got to the airport, to the hotel, same story. They're telling me to take it off. I said, listen, if I could pass it from Melbourne Airport, Manila, not the hotel, here I'm not. And the lady said, why? I said, I've got something at the center of my head. And I passed through. And as I was thinking, like, just let them do their work. What? What's that about? You, before they say something, you're taking it. Why?
You don't need to prove a point every time. Sometimes you just got to let things go. And I mean, especially if you got things to do, more important things, you don't have to.
I'm not in a hurry.
Worry about. That's going to take you a few seconds just to take it over, and they're just doing their job anyway. So I don't subscribe to that all the time. So.
Yeah, good. I like it. I just want to know where it's going to end. Who are you going to call now?
Yes, fair enough.
To come and rip it off my head or whatever. Listen,
just as well the flight was late, so
do you know when
actually we were almost late.
Yeah, because we were sitting at the lounge.
The final call,
and
we
then
didn't hear anything.
Normally, when you're at the lounge, they call and they call our name, but we didn't hear anything. And I said to you, "Are you checking the time? We're getting too comfortable." And we almost, missed the flight. But, even when I was sorting the ticket out, they said, do you want to get a compensation for delay? I'm like, not that. If you're in a business class or first class, don't get any, just stay there. Sleep. There's no hurry. Your holiday start from there. So I'm like, no, I'm not getting that. But anyway, I got away with that. So that's good. But I want to talk also about the taxi drivers in Manila. When we got to the airport, we got a taxi. Got the first person that came to us. We got it. So because it was too crowded and we need to get out of the place on time, and then we got the taxi. The guy, what do they call them? The agbero
conductors.
The one is the conductor. The one that was sourcing the passengers anyway came to us and said, "I'll get you." The concierge. I will get you a taxi. Fine, get us a taxi. And he says it's 3,600
pesos.
Yeah. Pesos. I'm like, let's just get out of here. I was cheeky. We got halfway, so I said to the driver, my husband is like, it's okay, it's 3,000. Have you converted it? This time I want to be like my friend, My friend Omoga, she always convert. Let me convert like Bola today. Anyway. And I'm like, this is too much. It's like, what, $100? So I asked the driver, how much did you say your money was, sir? And he says 3,600 pesos. I'm like, what? How much is that? 100 Australian dollar. I'm like, no. From the airport to the hotel is too close. It can't be. I'll give you 50. Husband is looking at me like, oh my gosh, she started. It can't be more than 50. Even in Australia, it would be like 25 or whatever. And so the guy now called the conductor or whatever and said they were going to pay 50. And the conductor spoke to me on the phone and said, yes, it's $100. I said, no. Well, if I pay you $100 today, you're going to pay me the $50 back tomorrow because I'll take your phone number, your driver, your car rego, and tomorrow I will find you. You will return my money because you're cheating me. And he goes, okay, pay $50. See? That's a lot of money.
That's an interesting one because sometimes you go to countries and you don't understand their culture. Here in the Philippines, as well as in most third world countries, there is this culture of bargain. Mm-hmm. Don't take the first prize as the as the bottom price.
I know.
Okay, as the final price. So actually, one of the courses we're doing with the Windham City Council now, the leadership course, is one of the things. So we're doing a bit of projects on the Philippines culture
really?
and the Indian culture. And one of the things that we put in there is the fact that they love the bargain. So it's a good thing, and I think I love what you did, because I mean other people will have just said, well, it's $100, they'll just pay that, not knowing that you could still pay 50, and you're not really doing anything terribly bad, because even in the 50 they still made a profit. If they won't make a profit, they wouldn't have settled for that. So it's not like you're cheating them because they expected you to bargain. So that's something to take note of. So when they give you a price, it's not always the last price. So
well, they cheated us the second time. So the second time we took a taxi from our hotel to mall, and this taxi driver, I saw the meter. It was 318 pesos from the start. One man told me to ask him, are you taking, how much are you charging, or are you using the meter? Upfront, or cash or whatever. And I forgot. But guess what? We got to the hotel, and this man, I said, how much is my money? I want to try him. And he says, 5, didn't he?
500.
He says 500 pesos. I'm like, 500 pesos? From there to here, it should be 100. And he goes, no, it's not 100. And then the concierge people came and said, madam, what was the matter? And I said, I'm just trying to check how much my fare. And the guy said, go and read my meters. They read the meter, and it was 318. At this point, I could not say anything. I can't be carrying on and say, no, I saw it from the place. It would be so messy, so I was quiet. So this guy ripped us off anyway, charged 318 pesos, when in fact that was fixed on the screen.
Yeah.
From where we came from.
It was good that you picked that up at the start. I didn't even check it, but we didn't pay 500. We paid 300.
We paid 300. So I want to say,
still underscoring the fact that you can still bargain anyway. It started with 500. We paid just over 50.
But why was he even charging us 500 before, when he now says in meter? The thing I want to say is, what works here that I figured out is, from the start of the journey, ask how much. Because remember, when we ask how much, you can bargain or you can accept, but ask from the start.
So that you know from the get-go what you're up for in terms of fares. I think it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Well, that is a little advice we're going to give you about catching a taxi or a cab. But there's more about cab in the Philippines. We're going to go on the break. We'll be back to talk about more taxis in the Philippines. Welcome back. We're still talking about our journey so far. Now, in the Philippines, my husband...
Before we go to the cab thing, sorry, can we just talk? One thing I love about the Filipino people is just they can almost greet you to death. It's like,
but it's not just Philippines.
Hello, how many times again? I'm like,
I think it's the way they're very subtle about it and gentle. Yeah. But if you go to America, say hey, like that, they greet there too.
But it's cool. I mean that complimentarily. So it's just that they're very hospitable people.
Nigerians are hospitable,
but in a different way. In a different way. In a different way. Everywhere is like, let me carry your bag for you. Let me do this, and not expecting anything. That's the difference. Nigerians will do that for you, but they expect you to tip.
That's what you think.
It's not what I think. That's the practice.
Maybe if you do it like Brown and Philip, they'll take it.
No. I mean, we don't see that.
Anyway, I'm not ready to do that for anyone.
So that's a good thing, Filipino, and I think I love that about the culture. Hospitable, and just you just love to greet people. But sometimes it could be a little bit too much.
I must say, I like them. So, I'm used to them. I work with them. I have a lot of friends, so I'm used to them. You're not a nurse, so you don't see a lot of Filipino. I'm used. They're good people, really. They like us. Yeah. But let's talk about your jeepney. You're fascinated about the jeepney as well. Like there's a place in the Mall of Asia,
Yeah.
they congregate. It's like a rack that rack,
Around.
taxi ranch or something like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
There are a lot of them there. So when you go there, you should look out for it. And I think what's your impression?
I think I love the fact when I first saw it. I mean, not this trip. The first time I came to the Philippines, I was like, "What? This this is the sort of things we call it korokwe back in Nigeria then that we used to have in the 60s and 70s. That rickshaw, rickety thing." But the more I kind of research into it, I found out that it's actually preserving their culture, and there's a move now to replace them, which I don't think they should. They should just keep them somewhere, maybe just for
tourist center,
yeah,
for tourism.
a bit of a heritage thing. I love it. We've got a couple of photos so that you understand what we're talking. They're called jeepneys. Jeepneys. This is one of it. This is what it looks like, and they write all these things on them, which makes it very colorful. And we've got another one here, something like this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I just love the fact that it reminds me of two things. One, the old koropes mixed with the molues.
Yeah.
The koropes you see them, but this one, the molues where people just pack in it like maybe not a lot of overloading in this case, but
no, they were overloaded too.
Yeah, but you didn't find people standing. I didn't think anybody was standing. Anyway, but it was just good to see. It adds a lot of color to the streets and to the traffic, and you just see people, they were happy with it, and I just love that about that. The color and just the live, the fun of it. And if we had some time, I might even go into one of them.
You would definitely go
just to experience it. So jeepneys in the Philippines. So this is my own little thing. If you really want to scrap it, I understand the Bao government, as the new president's government, they're looking to replace it. Maybe just preserve a few, because I think it adds some culture, it adds some heritage, and it adds some color to the Philippines, to Manila. I don't know if it's in other provinces, but in Manila, it's there.
Yeah.
So go jeepneys.
Go jeepneys. Now let's talk about this amazing man that we were privileged enough to be in the suit, Douglas MacArthur. Amazing. What a privilege. So the story of this man was the I was gonna say Emerald. It was the general, was it?
No, it was the American General of the Army.
General of the Army.
And also, I think the first Field Marshal in the Philippines Navy at the time. We're talking of back in
1912?
12 was when the Manila Hotel was built. And all this time was around the Second World War, or just shortly afterwards.
Yeah. It was amazing. So
the 40s, 1940s. Yeah.
1940s. Yeah. So when this man was sent from America to come and govern the manage affair of the Philippines, he now apparently dictated that his suit has to look like the palace or the presidential suit. It's similar. And if you see the place, amazing. So if you come here, lodge in the Manila hotels, you might be privileged to be able to see. To stay in the suite per night is how much?
About $10,000 US.
$10,000 US to stay in the room. The suite is a suite, because it's massive. Even the bodyguards have their own private lounge and their rooms attached. Every attaché has their apartment attached to this place. Amazing. 10,000. I guess if the president of a nation is coming to the Philippines, they will stay there, because they will come with all their entourage, and then there will be room for them to stay. So it's probably going to be worth it after all. But I said to them, "Can we change our room?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Can we tour the
just to get a feel?"
To get a feel, and they goes, "No, we'll check if the place is available." To change your room to $10,000. What do you think we are? Only if you want. So I said, "Nah, we're not doing that." And then we stopped. But We show you some of the photos. I don't think we got them readily
No, we don't have
available
them
now,
with me.
but some of the photos and videos of his suit and how he lived are amazing. So if you've seen our photo when we sat down with the cap on, doing like that, that was his at his room. So lucky to get that.
It was good. I mean, most of you will remember that I gave this famous speech, "I shall return."
I shall
So that
return.
was in the 1940s. So a pretty amazing man, pretty amazing man of the military. So kudos to him.
Yeah. Amazing. Now we need to talk about the food, the buffet. But let's break this up and we'll be back. Welcome back. We're still talking about Philippines. Philippines is very gracious, actually. Spending the whole time on it. Anyway, food. My husband is been struggling with the food here. He's like, what's that? What did they add to that? What's this? So sometimes they give you all Filipino food that he's very, very picky with his food. Me, I'm like, just bring it. If I can't eat it, I throw it away. And then when it comes, I look at him, I'm like, I'm not eating. But he's asking questions. That's when you ask your own question. What's this? What's that? But anyway, we went for the buffet. We thought, okay, with buffet, you have everything. Let's try that. And the buffet was so expensive. This is Temi now talking. I thought it was too expensive. I'm like, I have to eat to make up for the money. Have you been to an expensive restaurant and you want to eat to make, to worth the amount of money you're paying? So I was asking my husband, like, listen, I need to have probably go to gym, come back. I need to eat this food. So, and also there are some guys next to me. Man, these people, their stomach is so elastic. Like they kept on eating, and when they were eating, I was getting full. They were eating, I was getting full. Like, are they gonna die or something? You're eating too much. But my husband is of the opinion that
Well, when you pay for a buffet, it seems like maybe it's a bit expensive, but what you're paying for, I think it's actually an experience and an opportunity to get all manner of cuisine in the one place at the one time. So that's what you're paying for. It doesn't mean you have to finish everything or eat everything. That's poverty mentality right there. If you're thinking because you pay this money, then you got to eat and overeat and become, bloated. You can just go there and just have it. For instance, the buffet that we had, there was a section for Korean cuisine, there was a section for Italian, for Japanese, for Chinese, and all of that, and Western food as well, which was great. Ideally, what you would have had to do was to have divided that into 3 or 4 meals to say, okay, maybe tonight we're going to have Chinese, tomorrow we're having Japanese and all of that. But you had everything in one place. That's what we're paying for. So rather than you going out to each of those, they're all coming to you in the one place at the same time. So that alone is worth the money. Also, by the time you taste this and that, it's like a smorgasbord. It should have a feel, and it's just by the time you really think about it, you know that it's not about wanting to eat your money's worth, whatever you think that money's worth. It's about the experience. So that's the way I look at it. Okay.
Well, I like your analysis, but it would take me a while to grow into that. And so when you said that, that was the experience that we're eating, I kind of look at myself, I'm like, this is probably a poverty. Is it poverty really or poor man? I think it's poor man mentality because is it different? I think it's different from poverty. So poor man mentality, when you eat and you want to eat your value of the amount you pay, because like you said, some rich people will come there and they will just say, I'll pay the money. All I want is some juice or tropical this and they fine. So it's okay. It's good to move with people like you because then you're getting Yeah.
No, well, at the end of the day, it depends on how you measure worth. That's what it comes down to. Maybe not even so much of poverty or whatever. It's about how you measure worth.
Worth. Yeah.
Because to some people, that's what you're paying is worth it. I mean, so most people will come in.
You're right. It's
For
not
instance,
worth
they
it
would,
for me.
maybe for you, it's not worth it. So
Yeah.
exactly
Because I didn't
you
get to
think,
eat the steak. I
but
couldn't
nobody
get.
was stopping you from doing that.
I was full.
So you were eating. So that means you were kind of eating the wrong things.
I wanted to
quicker.
taste everything. I mean, the place is like crazy.
And then it takes. There's a strategy to eating this thing. You don't just come.
Why didn't
the
you
first
use the
place.
strategy?
I did. I was okay. I wasn't complaining.
You didn't eat anything.
I
Like
was
you didn't.
okay, but what I ate was what I wanted to eat,
There you go.
and I was okay with that because you don't just go the first place you pack your plate.
I did not.
What
pack.
I did
I
first.
ate the
Hang on. What I did first was I went round. Okay, and then I kind of sampled. I kind of visualized. Okay, these are the things I wanted, and I just went and picked what I wanted, and that was it. That was enough for me. So, but if you wanted to
You
go
didn't
round,
eat dessert. You didn't.
I don't need that.
No.
Usually, I'm not a dessert person, so I'd already gone around. Everything I needed, I had. So I was fulfilled. I had my money's worth. But you went to the first stall, the Japanese, you packed your plate. I was looking at it. I said, okay.
I ate sushi. Like steak is my favorite thing, and I thought if I start with steak, I'm gonna be too full. So let me eat everything.
Well, I thought you had steak.
That was the steak. That was like, nah. The steak was the one
That
like
was
the
steak.
yeah, that was no, that
was
was nothing. The steak was the chunk like on the bone. That one, like Potter's house, and I didn't get to eat that.
Anyway, next time you start with your favorite. I think that's the tip. You enjoy what you like first because that way you're still hungry and you still have that passion for it because you might, just like what happened, you might end up not being
eating my favorite,
able to eat your favorite. It might run out, or at the time you're about to eat it, you don't have that level of
appetite
of hunger or appetite for it. Yeah, so
that's true. So I think you're right. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that is in this situation that wants to eat the money's worth. Now, I think we about touched the whole thing about the Philippines. Overall, to round that up is the environment is especially in Manila. We haven't gone to Boroka, we haven't gone to Cebu, we haven't gone to Duamagade, we haven't gone to Prologue and all those places. But this place that we're in now, I think it's fantastic. The generosity of the space, they use their space very well. The hotels are wide and big and clean. The streets is so clean.
Where
very
we're at
clean.
is clean.
Yeah.
As we're traveling as well, there's some contrast too. There's parts of it that are not so clean, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You have that in
Anywhere.
every country.
But
generally, it's a clean country, I would say.
Clean country.
Yeah, around the Mall of Asia, around the Manila metropolis, I think it's really well maintained, good culture, and all of that. So that's good.
I don't know if we got the video and the photo of the Mall of Asia and the condominium.
No, we don't have it.
We don't have it. But if you are looking at getting a condominium, I will post the photos very shortly. Fantastic apartment. It's on the level 13,
level 10.
10. Fantastic place with
at
SMD.
the Shore Residence C block, C2 Tower. Shore Residence at Pasay in Manila. So nice location, nice environment. So
beautiful fittings.
Yeah,
everything
all well
is there.
Well, fully furnished and everything. Nice views as well, balcony and everything's got everything. So if you're interested in maybe having an investment or an apartment right there, please talk to Temi.
Talk to me, and we'll put you in the right place. We've got a video we want to talk to.
Before you do that,
yes.
One more thing. I think we were meant to go minister in a place.
Yeah.
What's the name of that place?
Prologue.
We're meant to go there, but I think that was a bit of a mix-up. That was meant to be yesterday. We had some ministration to do there. But thank you, the pastor, for inviting us, and
Pastor
also
Pastor
Peter Mbakwe and
the
connection that we had, but we couldn't because there was a mix-up over time because we weren't given the full information. But we'll definitely make up for that the next time around, and also shout out to the pastor on the ground.
Yeah,
we spoke, and don't forget, send me your details
And then
so
we
that we
will get
can
back to
send something. Yeah.
across. Yes, it's true because well, you've said it all. It's just a bit complicated. But let's go on a quick break, and then we will talk into this.
There's a video making the rounds, and we want to just give a take on it. So we'll be right back.
So. Welcome back on the show. We're still here and giving you the lowdown of what is going down. Anyway, so there's this small video that is making round, as you've heard, and we were both discussing about it and sharing our own views on it. So we thought we shared the same video. You might have seen it before. It's now very
it's viral.
So you can also put your own comment down, but we'll let you have a look at the video now. We talk to it.
True story, y'all. About 10 years ago, I was planning to host a women's conference in Atlanta. And I remember at the time I was following this woman on Instagram who, like, she just oozed fabulosity. Like, she was always wearing designer clothes, had the expensive handbags, was always wearing the red bottom shoes, was taking pictures in expensive restaurants. And I was like, I want her to speak at my conference because I want her to inspire women to level up their life. Well, I got a chance to call her and I was explaining my heart for the conference. And she said to me, Nona, I would love to do this, but I just got evicted from my apartment and I'm actually staying with a friend and sleeping on their couch. And I don't know where I'm going to be at by the time of your conference. Y'all, I was shook because that same morning, she posted a picture of herself standing in the middle of the street holding a Chanel bag showing off her red bottom shoes while she was sleeping on her friend's couch. And I realized in that moment that if we're not careful, we will end up comparing our reality to another person's fiction. And this is why I'm killing comparison, because too many of us are feeling like we don't measure up because the measuring stick that we're using isn't even real.
Oh my world. Every time listening to this video now, I'm like, why? Why are you even measuring yourself? And why are people comparing? It's just silly. I think where we are at this stage and at this level of awareness of civilization, I don't know why people will still compare themselves with somebody else when you know there could be a lot of editing and photoshopping. Exactly. Anything can happen. You know, some people, you see human being, they will say it's not human being. I remember one time they even said that man was dead. It was his dead body that was talking. You know who I'm talking about. That even though we're looking at him moving his sleeves, they said, why? And this was the conversation we had. So when you watched the video, what was your impression about that?
Okay. I think the story, the context for me was not conclusive. First of all, I'm not sure who that person is that's posted I wanted to do the women's conference about 10 years ago. That lady. Okay. But the first thing that stood out to me was that why was she trying to pick a conference speaker based on Instagram posts?
Is she?
Because she didn't even know this person. She didn't say that she's gone to a website or she was listening to know what she does. She was only trying to pick her as a conference speaker simply because of what she was posting on Instagram. So I think she's the one that is actually using her reality to compare it to somebody else's fiction, as she says.
Right.
So that's my first thing, because I mean, she said she was following her on Instagram, and because she was posting all this Gucci back and day, she wanted her to speak just to encourage women to be fabulous. That's one. Secondly, what's your idea of being fabulous? Is it because somebody is posting Gucci bags? So I think it's all wrong motive, wrong ideas, and wrong a lot of things. That's one. Secondly, she did mention that people should not compare their realities to somebody else's fiction. I agree, you shouldn't, but who is to say that that is a fiction for that person? That could be a reality. We don't know. She may be the same person. I think the fact that the woman was bold enough, okay,
Yeah.
okay, to, well, at least we don't know the reason why she was posting things.
Yeah.
Okay, for starters.
My point is
Okay, you want to come in?
I want to come in. Sorry, the woman that lady that invited somebody is a bit having. She doesn't have a good understanding of being fabulous when a woman is being fabulous. It's not about I don't post Chanel bag. I probably posted LV one time about 20 years ago because I was excited. It was my first LV that you bought for me in America. That was it. Like, does that make me less fabulous? No. So I don't think that's what you should be looking at choosing what. And she was saying red bottom shoe, all those things. That's been vain.
Yep.
in my own understanding. And I think also we should be giving a better impression and understanding, like what you were listening to in the plane. Inner, what did you say?
Your inner self, knowing your inner self.
Thank you.
Your
Knowing
true self, who you really are. It's on the inside rather than what you portray. It's about what your external visuals are. It's
Exactly.
what you really are, and that's what defines you. It's not even what you wear, what you carry, or whatever. That's not you. You're in your inner man.
Your inner man. And also the photo that lady was posting, was it an old photo of her that she was posting that morning? And was she using that as a coping mechanism to say, I used to be that, I'm no longer? You don't know because you have not even asked.
I don't think she said that the woman was posting.
She said she posted the photo that morning.
That same morning she was it posting or posting?
I thought it was posting.
Okay, yeah, maybe, we don't know. That's why I said it was not a conclusive context. So we needed more information to be able to. One of the things is that you shouldn't judge, but you should always use your judgment. So don't judge, but always use your judgment. So a lot of people, I do agree definitely that social media has become so out there for everyone, and you shouldn't base your life or pick everything that you see on social media as gospel truth. I know that. And the Bible even said that those who compare themselves with one another, they're not wise. So I understand that. But then we also need to look at the reality of this particular woman. So maybe you want to speak to that.
What if we go on a quick break and we'll be back? Welcome back on the show. I don't know if you've seen the video we've just played about a lady talking about another lady. I know that when we're talking about this, when we're discussing about this, my husband, you're like, it's not good to somebody to portray a wrong impression for another person. That this lady that was showing the red bottom designer shoe, that she was portraying wrong impression as well. But my point is, when that woman was posting or whatever it is, she was probably using that as a coping mechanism for her. If this lady rang her in the morning and said, would you come to speak at my conference? If the woman had said yes, she could have said yes. She could have just put on her red bottoms and their designer's shoe and still go. But she came openly and honestly to say, listen, I don't even have a home. I cannot come. She was not coerced. She was not forced to saying that. I think that is credit to her, because some people will still wear their designers and still go and put a facade on to go to a conference to speak. So I think the woman, for me, I'm not going to judge her. I can't even really judge her, because people are hurting, people are in pain, people are in some unpleasant situation. But that does not mean that if they had a designer bag before, they can't carry it. You know what I mean? Like if you have red bottom, and like there's a lady next to my office that had a shop there. I don't know if I told you, you know the story anyway. This lady imports things from China, and she was doing her business, she was doing well, and then she gave about 500,000 worth of product to a company in New South Wales, and that company went bankrupt. And she only heard them on the TV or something. She fainted. She had a heart attack. As I'm talking to you now, she's in China. Okay, so it wasn't her doing. She was doing well, but she was unfortunate to get herself into this situation. And she's the one that is wearing red bottom and all that. So if she comes out today out of that, thank God I survived from this heart attack. I'm still here. And then she's wearing red bottoms and she's posing. That doesn't mean she cannot do that, because you don't know the full story of this woman. That's just where I'm coming from.
No, I agree 100% with you, because I don't think the woman, from what has been said, I don't think the woman in question is actually giving false advertisement.
Good.
If she was, she would not have come back to say, I'm homeless now. And the only reason she declined to attend the conference was not because she was homeless.
Yes.
It was because she didn't know where she would be at the time of the conference. It wasn't because now she's poor. As a matter of fact, that's the sort of story you even want. That's the sort of story you want to be able to share with people, that it really doesn't matter whether you're up or down, you're still who you really are. I think this woman was actually authentic. I think she's authentic. Authenticity doesn't mean you're right all the time. Authenticity means you're real.
Come on.
That you are who you say you are, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, you hold up to whatever it is. You say, well, this is me. Paul said, I've learned what it is to abound and what it is to abase. And whichever one, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So it really doesn't mean everybody will go through seasons in life. So this woman may at one point been up there with the Gucci and Chanel bags and everything, but at the point she's only, and she was not proud, but she was real enough and authentic enough to say, well, at the moment, don't get fooled, don't get it mixed up, don't get carried away with everything you're seeing. But at the moment, I'm hopeless, I'm staying with a friend. I think that's integrity to me.
Wow.
I think that's authenticity, to be able to share that. If she was one that was trying to give false impression or false advertisement, she will cover everything and say, oh, okay, give another lie or say, okay, I'll try and be there and then go and borrow whatever. But no, she said, look, the truth be told, at the moment I'm going through a rough patch. Don't we all go through rough patches at times? We will. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, with what the woman is saying, if the context it's what we think it is, because there's a lot of gaps there. But that's just something people need to pass judgment using, you make your own judgment and go through each of that scenario and think through what you're thinking through, rather than just saying, oh, she's been this, she's misleading people. But I think the takeaway from it is that you shouldn't be led or misled by what you see on social media anyway.
Yeah.
That should not be your compass. You shouldn't get your direction from what you see on social media. Your direction should be, your competition should be competing with your best self.
Yeah.
Your best self, which you haven't achieved. And that's what it should be. But if you're looking at what others are posting to determine whether you're somebody or you're not somebody, then you completely missed it. You don't have that good self-worth. I think knowing who you are, having a confident self-identity, and being sure of who you really are, I think that's the key to it, regardless of what anybody else is posting with on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, so I really enjoy your contribution, because well said. If you are whole in yourself, then you're not going to be looking at somebody else as a measure, because you know who you are and whose you are. You're already whole. I don't need to look at somebody who is higher than me that I want to measure up. I don't need to see somebody who's lower than me that I want to measure up. I don't even know what level anyone is. Who determines anybody? Is it the physical appearance? No. So I think anybody that is judging too, they got a vacuum in them that they want to fill. So what vacuum is it in you that you want to fill? Because if you do, maybe you want to go to school to study, you can do that. You want to learn something, you can do that. You want to do anything to make you the standard and the best self that you desire, not somebody else. Because if you look at that person, are you going to get their designer bag? What has that got to do with you?
That's right. And the other way you want to look at it, take this for what it's worth, is this woman may not be there yet. She may be dressing for where she's going.
Aha, is she?
Our real self might be
Is she?
the homeless person or whatever, but you don't have to stay there. The position you're in now should not be your reality forever. You don't have to stay there. Maybe this woman is aspiring to be someone better, something better, and she's actually dressing for where she's going. Who knows? Just thought I'd put that there.
Thank you so much. And that is one of my mottos, actually. I dress for where I'm going. Thank you so, so much. I like that. And somebody might be saying, what about the people that are not that don't have the wisdom or the withal or something to, we can speak to that as well. I think you've done it. Yeah. If you are not there yet, if you don't have the confidence, you don't have the wisdom, you don't have the discernment yet, discern that too. Desire it and you get it. Don't let any internet presentation
mislead you or fool you into thinking that there's something out there. Just be yourself, be real. If you can afford something, just enjoy it and do it. And then who knows? Sometimes you got to start by dreaming about things. Dream about it, have a vision of it. Maybe she was putting that out as a vision. The Bible says that you should make it plain so that those that read it can run with it. So maybe people are reading the wrong thing, but they're not running with it. Instead of that, they're passing judgment. So, she's put it out there. I don't know her story, so I'm not drawing conclusions, but it's possible. Could it be possible that maybe she's not there because she was authentic enough to say, look, I'm homeless at the moment? That to me, I think, gives it all to say that this might not be a vain person, but somebody who is aspiring to be better. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure if she had come to that conference, she will have a whole more believable story to tell. Mm-hmm. One that is devoid of falsehood, one that is devoid of cover-up or facade. Mm-hmm. She will have been able to tell the story of, look, I'm homeless and yet I do have it. It will be interesting. To see how the story goes.
When we were talking about that, what came to my mind was that book that I'm reading now is 1 Thessalonians 5:18 that says, in every circumstances and every situation, thanks and rejoice.
Yeah.
Thanks and rejoice. So whether you are homeless, it doesn't mean you should not rejoice. Whether you are bankrupt, it doesn't mean you should not rejoice, because this time too will pass, as they say. It will pass.
It will pass.
No condition is permanent. They used to say this a lot in
That's
Nigeria.
Right. Both good and bad.
This time too will pass. So I will say rejoice, and I say again rejoice. So let's go on a quick break, and then I want to give you some move. We'll be back. We are going to now have to call it a day. It's been an amazing session. I miss you, ladies. Don't think, she didn't miss us.
And by the way, happy birthday, Heidi.
Heidi. Happy birthday.
I know you're watching somewhere, or you will be watching later on.
So. Yeah. And Liz has got some big
news,
news as well to share. But
good.
It's their story, it's not my story. So we're gonna wait and let them share all these stories and what is been going down next week when we meet. But thank you so much, my husband, for
thank you, Temi, for letting me hang out. Yeah, it's always good to hang out with you. I hang out with you off and on the show anyway. So it's okay to be on the show hanging out with him.
Thank you so much. So everybody, we're going to say goodbye for now, but until then, let us give you I want to give you, if you're sleeping, Adio. So far, so good. Yeah. Let me see you. You go. You go. You go.
Thank you.
Pastor Temi Ajayi and Pastor Wumi Ajayi. We love you guys, but
No. God bless you all. Bye. It's been nice being on the show.
absolutely. Bye bye.